This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for March 27, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, policeman dies following Content Spring road crash, colleague hospitalized. A police constable has succumbed to injuries sustained in a crash along Content Spring Road in St. Andrew on Sunday morning. He is 23-year-old Delroy Hines, who was assigned to the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch. The driver of the vehicle, who is also a police constable, remains in hospital. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that sometime after 2 a.m., Hines was a passenger in a Toyota Belta motorcar being driven by the other constable. The driver allegedly lost the control of the vehicle and collided with a utility pole. Both men sustained injuries and were taken to hospital, where Hines died while being treated. The driver remains hospitalized. The police high command has expressed their condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of the deceased policeman. The Constabulary's Chaplaincy Branch and Welfare Department are providing support to Hines' family members, friends, and colleagues. Men charged after gunfight left them both wounded. 2 men have been charged following a shooting incident on February 7 that left them both injured. Charged are 28-year-old Romaine Bennett, a laborer of Bryce Hill Road, Kingston 7, and 25-year-old Randy Cole, a tattoo artist of Waterloo District, Yoaton, St. Catherine. Bennett was charged with shooting with intent, wounding with intent, and unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, while Cole was charged with wounding with intent, unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that about 9 p.m., both men were allegedly involved in a gunfight and allegedly shot and injured each other. The police were summoned and the men were transported to hospital, where they were admitted. During a search of the area, one Taurus 9mm pistol, a magazine containing one 9mm cartridge, one Pietro Beretta 9mm pistol, and a magazine loaded with 13 9mm cartridges were found. They were both charged following interviews and are awaiting arrangements for court. Body of woman found in Great Pond, St. Anne. Police are currently on the scene where a woman's body was found in Great Pond, St. Anne on Monday morning. The deceased was identified by family members as Elise Russell, otherwise called Dorothy. Residents told the news that they stumbled upon the body shortly before 7 a.m. She was found on the compound of a business establishment in the community. Chung discount called for retirement age to be increased. Financial analyst Dennis Chung has discounted calls for the retirement age to be increased to alleviate the shortage of qualified people for the labor force. Over the weekend, David Wan, president of the Jamaica Employers Federation, called for the raising of the mandatory retirement age so people can continue to work if they so desire. The age of retirement according to the National Insurance Act is 70 years old. Mr. Chung believes that the country may have to source qualified workers from overseas.
Those suggestions about increasing the mandatory age and changing the pass mark for 6 years are not going to help anything. Importation of labor is the only immediate short-term solution that can happen. This is something I've spoken about for many, many years, that unless we address labor market reform and also the whole issue of performance-related pay, then we would have gotten to this situation. So it's no surprise that we're here. The problem that we're having is one of productivity, and we've had a productivity issue since 1972, where it has been falling every year with the exception of about 3 years in the 1980s. That means that where we are today was easily predictable that we'd get here. Now, if you have the problem, particularly at entry-level positions, then holding on to people that have been in jobs for close to retirement is not going to help. I agree also with David that the challenge of people leaving because of getting to a certain age is a company policy. Companies can vary that policy in order to address that situation. But what you do is you hold on to people at the higher end. I don't think that the problem is only at the entry-level position. I think that is right throughout the workforce.
Robin Russell, president of the Jamaica Hotel and the Tourist Association, has said the importation of labor is not a palatable proposition. He said there are too many thousands of Jamaicans who are not gainfully employed for the country to be looking outward.
The idea of importing is a hard pill to swallow, and I understand why Jamaican people find it hard, because when they wake up in the morning and they know that 280,000 people are unemployed or 700,000 people are outside of the net, they see them every day. You know, my staff coming to work sees that person sitting on the road saying, boy, I'd love a job. For them to go to work and see a foreign national in that job is not, I want to say it's not fair. And that's not the way we should grow the country. I think we need to be setting up programs that will reach those individuals, those persons that want to get into the formal sector.
Strike notice served by Windalco workers. The clock started running at 6 o'clock Monday morning on a 72-hour strike notice served on bauxite alumina company Windalco, a subsidiary of Russia-based UC Rasal. More than 600 production workers employed to the company have voted to take industrial action starting at 6 o'clock Thursday morning if the impasse is not resolved. Vincent Morrison, president of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, told the news that there was a breakdown of wage and fringe benefits negotiations between the management of the company and the union. He said a meeting between the Ministry of Finance and UC Rasal is scheduled to address the impasse.
Well, the minister has invited us to a meeting and we'll be attending the meeting. We would hope that common sense will prevail, that the company will change its stance, its attitude. Certainly, the company needs to understand that negotiation must be conducted in good faith. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we have reached this situation. I think we have enough time to sit down, whether at the ministry or going back at the local level, to work out an arrangement, something that we can put to the workers.
Mobay bus park manager wants the police to address loitering. Vince Young, manager at the Montego Bay Transport Center, is calling on the leadership of the St. James Police to create a special police unit to address students loitering in both the transport center and on the streets of the Western City. According to Young, despite the efforts of principals across the region who recently visited the transport center as a group to get a first-hand view of the loitering, the students continue to be nonchalant in defiance of the effort to get them to go off to school in a timely manner in the mornings and not to hang around the city in the afternoons. Most mornings, or I should say every school morning, we have the same situation, said Young. I think we should have some school police, have some police come into the park by 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. They will be doing police duties, yes, but they will be paying special attention to students as it relates to going to school. I think that would solve the problem, have police in the park in the morning and have them instruct the students, direct them in terms of transportation. We need some school police, added Young. During the month of January, the principals of high schools across St. James launched an anti-student loitering program, but according to Young, the initiative only lasted a few days, and now the students are back to their old ways. Well, I would say that in the first week it looked a little improved, but following that we still had the same problem, said Young. Things have gone back to where it was before. Young said the police officers who now operate inside the park are not able to handle the loitering issue alongside their regular duties because of the large number of students, so he thinks the way to handle the situation is to have a dedicated team to handle only loitering. Just this morning, police had to intervene in student affairs in terms of having them take vehicles that they normally would not take, said Young. They would be waiting for special vehicles, especially the Hopewell High School students, and there were some altercations in the park, and the police intervened and put them on taxis and buses to just get them out of the park. Like Young, Dale Bingham, who drives a coaster van that transports students from Montego Bay to Lucy, supports the idea of having a police unit to address loitering. He would also like to see action taken against those transport operators who facilitate student indiscipline. Most of the students don't drive on my bus because they don't really love the bus that has too much discipline, said Bingham. The police need to lock up the driver who encourages bad behavior by the students and lures them to their vehicle with dirty music and having girls sitting in boys' laps. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.